Hello everyone and welcome to my channel. This will be, I believe, part 3? No, part 4, I believe, of my complete coloring book collection. I decided to do this instead of a big haul video because, I just, books got mixed up and I cannot remember what I have shown and what I haven't shown. I'm going to be showing all of my Asian books. I'd actually recorded this video earlier today, but my microphone, unbeknownst to me, died partway through, and so about 2/3 of the footage, there was no audio at all. So, this is take 2. I'm hoping I can do it a little bit faster this time, because I did kind of ramble a little bit. But anyways, I'm gonna start with my Japanese coloring books. I recently got a few from Amazon Japan, and they are just beautiful. The paper is always wonderful. I don't recall how I found this one. I think I saw somebody on YouTube talk about how they were wanting to get it, but it was out of stock. And I had liked the other artist, or the other book from the artist that they had been showing, and I actually happened to find this one and not the other one. So this was a bit of a blind buy, but I think it's really pretty. I love some of the images in here. It is kind of Bible themed. There's little scriptures and proverbs and stuff here and there throughout. I like that the artist put English and Japanese, and it is a little bit on the thinner side, but still a cute book, and I don't really have anything like it, so I felt like I could justify it. This is Irie's latest coloring book. I'll be showing her other books in a different video. I have this one here because it's a different size, and so I won't be keeping it next to those other books. I can't remember what this one is called. I just saw that she had recently released a new book, and I'd already had been planning on checking out, and then that same day I saw that she had released another book, so I quickly added to my cart. And it's just so classic Irie, so, you know, a good balance, I think, of single page and double page spreads. So that one I haven't colored in yet. A lot of these I actually haven't. I think part of it is because they're the more, like, within the past few years acquired, and I haven't had as much time to color, and they are just more detailed. And anyways, I apologize, I don't remember what a lot of these are called. I've found that just taking a screenshot and doing a image search, you can find the information for the book to purchase, find the title, etc. And unfortunately, my Korean books are, a lot of them are not available anymore, so I'll just put the link to the Etsy shop that I use. All my Japanese ones, or most of them, are from Amazon Japan, and just so cute. I love this book. It's very detailed. I think it's kind of based on like different stories and fairy tale. There's a really cute Wizard of Oz picture somewhere in there that's just adorable. I believe this is the same artist. If not the same artist, the same publisher. It does look like, okay, yeah, I think it is the same artist. The line art is a little bit different in this one. It seems to be just, kind of slightly bolder, and, just very detailed. Double page spreads and single page spreads. I love this one right here. I think it's cute. I think it's a double page spread, but it could very easily, they could be colored as individual images as well. So there's that one. It must be something around the world. And then there is this one with these cute little bunny characters. Same person who does the other ones. And the line art is much softer in this one. And the bunny is just doing the most adorable things. Yeah, it's just some of these are so detailed that they will just be absolutely magical when they're colored. Okay. Let's see. I think the last couple from that set, I'll show you really quickly. So this one I know is Wild Mouse Yuri's Journey Sketch because I had the foresight when I bought it to write it down. That was a few years ago. The line art is kind of, it's not super soft, but also not super bold. There's some simpler scenes and more intricate ones. I probably won't color like these types of pictures. That's just not my cup of tea, but that's okay. I have plenty of hours that I can spend on these other pictures, and that's what I would rather spend my time on. I think right here you can like pick out, color in what you want the different characters to look like, perhaps. And then, see here, I've got to fix my stack here. I don't want anything toppling over. Okay, there's this one. This one's really cute. It's very, very detailed. I just love this though. Like, that is so adorable. I typically can be very intimidated by a lot of like individual small details like this where there's just so many different types of elements to color. But I think it will just be so precious when it is colored in. Alright, next is Fantasy Season coloring book. And I have a whip in here. This one just has, the different seasons of the year. And the art style is pretty darn cute. This is a whip that I have. You'll have seen it in my more recent video with my pages that I've been working on. It is, I cannot remember, Pablo's pencils maybe? And then acrylic marker for the background and the sky. So I'm excited to finish that one. I was not so sure on if I would color in this one, but I'm really glad that I ended up getting it because in person it is a very cute book. I mean, on videos it was as well, but it was kind of harder to tell if it's something that I would color in often. This one was a bit of a blind buy. I bought it off of somebody who was selling some books from their collection, so I bought this one. It's so intricate. But I love some of these pictures, like this Mushroom City and like the Cherry Blossom City. I really love. So some of these I think I will end up coloring, but others I will just admire the line art. Next is this book all about bread. This was also a blind buy, but I was like, what can go wrong with Japanese bread coloring book? So, like, look at this cute little burger. The line art is kind of variegated depending on the picture. You know, some of it is like a scene, other times it's just like a bunch of random stuff on a page. And then you have some tutorial stuff. Okay. This next book, this is not technically, I guess, is Nicholas Indonesian? But this is Nicholas F. Transroyanata. This is technically not a coloring book. Even though this artist does have a couple of coloring books, this is actually an art book that I bought to use as a coloring book. But I have not touched it. I have very often looked at the pictures though and just really admired them. I think now, this is one of the earlier books that I purchased. Now that I have more coloring under my belt, I might take a bite at one of these. A little poster. I don't think that you can get this anywhere because it was kind of a limited edition type of a thing. Okay, next up are my Chinese coloring books. Let's see. Let's start with. Okay. My Dada Mao coloring books. Which I bought some of these from someone who was selling her collection, and then some I've just had forever that I bought off of AliExpress. So I think this one is something about something with a city. I don't know. I think it's a bunch of different mythical. I don't know, but it's really pretty. It's a bit more of the chibi type style. Very, very intricate. But I enjoy looking at it. There's a couple some color inspiration there. And these books, because of the way that they're bound, they all lie so perfectly flat, which is so nice because then you don't have to fight the book in order to color in it. This one is an older one. I think it has to do with different ancient gods and goddesses in Chinese culture. They have a lot. I've watched some Chinese dramas. Okay, I have gotten him his cheese. Okay, this is a very, 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 very old whip. I put so much effort into this beautiful hair, and then I got burnt out, and then I was worried about ruining it. And I think now I'm in a better place to go and actually finish that picture because I think it'd be really pretty when it's done. So this is an earlier book of mine. And then I have this one, also by Dada Mao. And I think this one is a bit... it is one of his older books, but it's a newer book. Oh, no. This is an older book for me. Okay. They all look the same. They just kind of run together. This is a whip that a completed page that I absolutely love. I love how her hair turned out and how her skin turned out. It just went down really smoothly. I believe I used polychromos for this picture. That's what it looks like to me. I don't really write down what I use. I should probably, I don't know. But I just think her hair turned out really pretty. And then this is an earlier page that I completed closer to the beginning of my coloring journey. And I can tell because the skin is really washed out and patchy and kind of weird looking and stuff. But I did really love how her robes turned out, and I did a really soft bokeh background, and I loved the colors that came out with that one. And then I think I have one other finished picture in here. Right here. This is also an earlier one. I can tell by his skin, but I do love how the robes turned out. I think they just came out really nicely. So there's that one. And then this one is a newer to me one. The paper actually feels a little bit different in this one. But oh gosh, just beautiful hair. Just great for coloring portraits and stuff. And yeah. Okay, the last Dada Mal book is this one. I think this one I bought from somebody used. And, you know, just very classic Dada Mal. I think I'm pretty good on books by that artist now, so I'm probably set for life, but who knows? He might release another book that I just fall in love with, but this is Muses. I think I got this one off of AliExpress, and it's just different women portraits with, you know, different outfits, different time periods. Really, really great for practicing different skin tones and hair. I just need to like actually get around to it. So the paper in that one is nice and thick. Okay, my absolute favorite Chinese coloring books are the ones by Gu Geli. This is his newest one. It is Colorful Time. I have not colored in it yet, sadly. I just have not had the time. This one has kind of some different art styles in it than his other book. It's so intricate and detailed, and the images are just so beautiful. I love these ones. Like, oh, look at these butterflies just coming off of her robe. It's just so beautiful. And I'm excited to color in this book eventually. I don't know if you can hear my kids, but they are playing in the background. Let's see. This one is Find Color. I love this one. The paper in here is so amazing. It feels like it could be like a student grade watercolor with how thick and toothy it is. So I've primarily used watercolor in here. This is all watercolor. This was actually, it did not take that long to do. Maybe at the most a couple of hours, just because I use watercolor. You know, a lot of the time was just waiting for things to dry so it wouldn't bleed or anything, but I just thought that it was just a tender picture, and I liked the colors that I picked for that. This is the first picture that I colored in here, and I was just experimenting and playing with watercolor, and I think it just really turned out very pretty. I had a lot of fun with it. Okay, I think this is the picture that I picked to color next. We'll see if that's actually the one I end up coloring next, because sometimes I usually pick based on my mood, so if I feel like something else, then I might. So, yeah, here's just some other pictures. This is my absolute favorite completed page in this book. I'll just show you close up. There's like pearlescent watercolors embellishing the jewelry in her hair and these beads. This was a watercolor that I did with the with the wonderful Kate at Kate's Coloring Haven. She did a beautiful job on her version, and she was so patient with me. I took so long to complete this because I started it and then I had some life events occur that just made it difficult emotion-wise and time-wise to sit down and color. But I eventually was able to get to a place where I could finish it, and I think it just turned out so stunning. It's all watercolor. Uh, this background is the Schmink granulating watercolor, and you can just see that this paper received that really well. This is also granulating watercolor, and then I did regular watercolor for her skin and her hair and her robes, and I just think it turned out so beautiful. So it's one of my favorites. Okay, next are all of my Korean coloring books. I have a lot of them. I don't know which ones are available still to buy online because I had purchased a lot on Book Depository, and then they shut down. There's some that are available on Etsy, so I will put the link to the Etsy shop that I use. She has a lot of options and fairly reasonable shipping for the US. This is one that I think it's still available on Amazon. It is one that I received as a gift. It was on my wish list forever. And it is this tarot card coloring book. And the line art is just so beautiful. And I'm excited to put color on here. It just is asking for such vibrant colors to be put on these pages. So I'm happy about that. Next is this book, Which Color Do You Like? This one has really thick paper. It has tooth to it, and you get duplicates of everything. This is the page that I completed, I think sometime last year. That's why it's not marked. Because I was kind of in survival mode for, maybe was it last year? I don't know. But it's all watercolor paint. And I just had to really exercise a lot of patience and let things dry in between layers. That's the hardest thing. But I think it turned out really cute. And this is a really sweet book. So it's nice having the 2 pages because it takes some of the intimidation away. Okay, next is this coloring book by Doming. It is a fairy tale coloring book. This is actually in Japanese, but the original was done in Korean, and then went out of print, and then he released a reprint in Japan. And I just love this book so much. It's so cute. And excuse me, the illustrations are so beautiful. Excuse me. Alright, next up, this is You Are My Star. This is a book that takes like different birthstones and illustrates these individuals and couples with the different birthstones, and then you have color inspiration, and then they do also like different plants for each birth month, I believe, and then different, I think the zodiac. So very pretty book, and I always get excited to see a book that has men illustrated in it because those are typically hard to come by. So this one will be great for doing portraits. This is actually a children's Korean coloring book called Nature Play Experience. The paper is pretty thin and it's double-sided. but I just thought these pictures were so stinking cute, and I could always just scan and print it myself, for my own personal use. So, pretty thin, but also pretty cute. Okay, next is this is Forest Girl Premium Edition. This is the Forest Girl book I have colored in the most. It is the only one that is this size with this type of paper. It's really thick paper. I do a lot of watercolor on it, so this is all watercolor. And I just love everything about, just the scene, how it turned out. And the floor, I think turned out really nicely. And then this is another picture that I did fairly early on. I think it's one of the first ones I colored in this book. Also with watercolor. And then this, I believe, is watercolor pencils. I just love this picture. I think it's so stinking adorable. And there's just so many great pictures in here. I think there's this one. I thought there was another one. I guess not. This is also all done with watercolor. I think several years ago is when I worked on it. I think the bright pink was pretty bold of me, but I think it still turned out. Oh yeah, this is one that I did this year with Goldfaber Aqua. Goldfaber Aqua? Aqua markers. Aquarel markers. Now I'm going blank. But a water-based marker that you can then activate like it's watercolor. So that's everything I believe that I colored in here. And also, if you guys want full flip-throughs of anything, let me know. I apologize for not having names, but I will do my best to figure out which ones are requesting. This is the cutest. It is a real, it's got a lot of pictures in it. It is this ragdoll coloring book, and I think it's got some paper dolls in the back, and then it's got these scenes of just different rag dolls, and they're just so cute. Sometimes it's just the dolls, sometimes it's a little scene. And this one I believe is still on Etsy. And then you have some tutorials. I like that they have kind of given some ideas on how to add to patterns and textures. That's really helpful, even for other books. Since they are kind of like the patchwork dolls. Then this is April's newer coloring book. If she has a newer one than this, I don't know. But this is Coloring Book of the Four Seasons. And you've got these really nice poster pictures in the back that you could probably take out somehow. And then just, these cute little scenes from different seasons. So I love seasonal coloring books. I don't know why. I just do. So I'm excited to get some color on some of those pages. This is a recent purchase, as in sometime this year. I don't remember what the theme is, but it's got a couple girls in it on each page, so I imagine they're sisters or something, just going through life. Very cute. Oh, that's cute. And then you have some tutorial stuff. Okay, and then there's this small little coloring book. This was a bit of a blind buy. I could not find any flip-throughs anywhere. It's really thick. There's a lot of pictures. There's some that you can take out in the back, and then you have all of these cute little scenes with this little boy and his animal friends. Yeah, it's a pretty thick book, so I'm gonna have to really gently break it in so that I can get the pages to stay open. But it's just kind of this really soft grayscale, and I like that it's smaller and the pictures are a little simpler, but still just sophisticated. So, yeah, there's that one just about this little boy. Okay, let's see here. Oh gosh, how am I doing on time? Okay. All right, here's this coloring book. This is another really thick one, also on Etsy right now. And this one I think has to do with the different seasons. It's just this little character and his little pal in all these different scenes. This one I thought was really cute and really relatable because I live in the South and summers get so hot that sometimes you just want to lay down and do nothing. So this is just so darling. It's a very smooth paper. I love that you get so many illustrations and they're all just very different scenes. So there's that one. And then I think this one is like just more fantasy. So very cute. You may have already seen this page that I've been working on. It was in one of my more recent videos. And I have chosen some very different, more bold color choices. So that's always kind of fun to see. Just the different direction that I take things from the original artist. And I've been using Albrecht Dürer Colorsoft pencils, I believe, what they are. Oh, it's so cute. And again, just really thick. I don't know how this paper would take water media, but it should take, pencils and water-based markers really well, just with how smooth it is. Okay. I have another Dolmy coloring book. I love this one. It is Bizarre Bottle Encyclopedia or something. Yeah, Bizarre Bottle Encyclopedia. And it's kind of, the theme is mental health. And the paper is really thick, has tooth to it. You get duplicates of everything, so if you mess up on one, you have another. So I have a couple pictures finished in here. This is one of them. I actually just finished it a couple of days ago, so you'll see it pop up in a future video as well. I used watercolor markers. I used Goldfaber, I think, and Albrecht Dürer watercolor markers. And then there's another picture that I completed in here. I think it was for Mermaid one year, a few years ago, several years ago probably actually. And I used Supervision watercolor for the background to get this really beautiful shimmery. And then I used watercolor and pencil and gel pen for everything else, all the shading. I think that turned out really nice. So this is a fun coloring book, just because you can just play around with it, I think. Okay, next up, I have, this is called The Moment. It is a Korean coloring book. I don't know if you can see, but the faces are really softly illustrated. So this one would be great if you want to learn how to color things that look realistic without needing the dark lines. I haven't colored anything in it yet because it intimidates me. And to really get better at doing skin tones and hair. And this is one that I bought very early in my coloring journey. It was kind of a blind buy. It's really pretty, but I just have not been drawn to coloring anything in it. Even though I've had it for so long, there's just other books that have called for my attention more. I'll still look at it and appreciate the illustrations and stuff. But this is one that like I wouldn't get rid of just because I don't think it's in print anymore, and it's a beautiful book regardless of if I color in it or not. This is Monster Monster, and it's based off of a story. It's a cute story. I've read it to my kids. When I bought it, it was so long ago. I think my son was like, my oldest was 2, maybe 3, and I had this idea that I would have just the ability to color in so many of the pages and just have this fun illustrated book. But I have not colored a single page in here. I need to get that remedied because kids don't stay kids forever. Okay, let me grab another stack. Okay. We're getting there. This is a very early coloring book. It is Hanbok Fairy Tales. It's based on fairy tales, but they're set in like historical Korean attire. So you have all the color inspiration in the back, and then the coloring pages. There's just different fairy tale stories. It's really pretty, very ornate. Oh, this is one of my favorite pictures in this whole book. I just love it. This is a whip that I've had basically since I've had the book, which has been a really long time. All I need to do is finish this hair. Once I get that, I think I should get past kind of the roadblock that I've hit with it. I want to make this frame look like it's jade, probably. And then, the rest would be fairly doable for me. Okay, here's my other Forest Girl coloring books. This is the very first one, and it's got very smooth paper. I've done a few pictures in here. This is one. I love the colors, but I don't like my execution. I think it just is not vibrant enough, and it kind of gets muddled in a lot of areas. This is a picture that I did. It kind of looks like it's Prismacolor. I think it's an earlier one, just because of how the skin looks. This is my very first picture that I started in here, and these hot pink tabs mean that it is old. This is older than my youngest child, who is now 5. So I don't know when I will actually get that picture finished. But I just love Forest Girl. I think all of the books are just so precious. So there's that one. This is Coloring Book of the Forest. I think this is the 3rd book. And, just very classic April Forest Girl scenes. She's just doing different things. This is the only picture I've colored in here. I used polychromos and pen pastels for the background. And I love how her handbook turned out. The skin is okay, but I think for the most part everything else turned out really nicely. And it's just a very pretty book. And then I have this between poetry and painting. This one I got a lot because of the poetry. I wanted to have a Korean poetry book. I love poetry, so the pictures are really, the hair is so detailed and intricate, so I don't know when I will actually color something in here, but it is a very nice book just to have in my collection. I don't know if this one is available anywhere. There's that one. Okay, I think here's my last stack of books. Okay, here we go. Okay, I've got this series of books. They're flower and girl coloring books. They're all hardbound, and they're not like super thick, but they're not thin either. This is the first one. It is flower and girl coloring book, and I think they're like based on different literature characters. But I'm not entirely sure. I need to go through and translate some of these things and find out because I'm not 100% certain. I mean, that looks like Cleopatra. So it is a bit of a smaller book, which makes, the size is less intimidating that way for coloring people and skin. And then there's this one, which I thought it was a holiday theme, which there are some holiday images in it, but the overall theme is not holidays like I thought it was going to be. The line art in this one is a lot softer. And I love that you have, the color inspiration on one side, or like the original, I suppose. So there's that one, and then I have this one from the same artist, and it's just kind of a repeat of, a similar style. It's girls in different scenes. Very cute. Okay. Sorry, I'm getting really thirsty, so I'm not talking as much. This was a blind buy. I had no idea what it was going to look like on the inside. But, it's really cute. It's a little different than I anticipated, but I think when it's colored in, I think it'll be just really fun to do. It's really thick. You get a lot of images for what you pay. So I don't know just all about that character. And then there is this one, which is Roland's illustration cat and girl coloring book. This one I had been on the fence about because of how detailed a lot of these pictures are, but they are really pretty, and I love the artist's version, so at the very least, some of these I will just appreciate the artwork, and there are definitely ones that I will color the pages in as well. The beginning of the book has a lot more simple, so that if you just want something quick to color with practicing skin and hair, this would be great. Okay. I have no idea what this one is called. I got it off of Etsy. It's just different women from around the world. So like different cultures, different outfits. So I thought it would be really great doing, fashion and hair, and learning skin tones. Then there's a lot of tutorial type stuff. This was a blind buy. I was really fascinated by the idea of the artist taking well-known paintings and adding their own spin to it. Some of them are very recognizable, Like this is, I think, Monet's water lilies with her hair. And then, we have, that kind of looks like Alphonse Mucha. This is Klimt. I believe that's Klimt. I'm second guessing my names. This is, I think, inspired by Starry Night by Van Gogh. Very just classic paintings. This is also inspired by Van Gogh. Same with this one. And then a lot of the book is the originals. So if that is something that's off-putting to you, just know that this much of the book is the original, but it's really nice for like getting that color inspiration if you want to base it off of the original artwork. So it looks like the artist included, what the originals. I was right. I was looking at this earlier and I thought one of the pictures looked like a Claude Monet painting of his wife Camilla. And it was so cool. Anyways, I am a huge art nerd, so that book is perfect for me. Okay. This is just another book that was a blind buy off of Etsy. I think it is really cute. The line art is very different. It's simple, but like really detailed at the same time. I think you could do straight coloring like the artist has, or even just add a lot of shading and stuff and still have nice results either way. The paper is really soft. It is a little on the thinner side, but that's okay. This is called Draw a Lovely You. It is a very, very soft grayscale, and they're based off of different stories and literature. So, that's Pinocchio, Huckleberry Finn. We've got, this looks like Mary Had a Little Lamb. So just different faces to color. I need to stop buying pictures or books with faces and actually color the books. So this is Momo Girl. I think this one is Girls with Music. And the other one I have is Girls with Poems. She has another one out now too, I believe. This one has quite a variety of images. I have a whip in here. Oh, and a completed page. So this, I think the skin turned out okay. I think I would have added more warmth to these highlighted areas because it looks pretty washed out there. I like how the hair turned out. I thought that was pretty cute. This is the whip. I've been meaning to get to for a long time, but I want to film it because I want to show doing the skin. The background is watercolor, and then this is all polychromos. And I think once it's done, it's going to be just such a beautiful page. So I'm excited about that. I think that's everything that I've colored in here. And then you have a bunch of colored versions at the front. And then there's this one. This is Girls with Poem. I don't think I've colored anything in this one yet, but it's, all different poems. And I want to translate the poems sometime, and I think that would be fun. So I'm very intimidated by this book because just they look so beautiful. I don't want to mess anything up. So that is all of my Korean and Japanese and Chinese coloring books. There's probably some hiding from me elsewhere, but those are the majority of them. Let me know what book caught your fancy, what coloring page caught your eye, or maybe inspired you to pull out one of your coloring books. And stay tuned for the next installment, which will probably be my Amazon printed coloring books. And if you haven't already, be sure to subscribe, and I hope to see you next time. Happy coloring!